My name is Varun Narayan. I'm a technical account manager here at LabKey. And like Adam was talking about, some additional features that you have access to. I wanted to kind of go into a brief glimpse of our built-in ELN and some of its features. So our ELN can be used for a number of different things, but for the purpose of this example, I'm just going to be using it to quickly kind of document steps of a very simplified DNA sequencing experiment. So let's go ahead and get started. Share my screen. Okay. So I'm in my sample manager view. Let me create my notebook. Give it a name. Let's call it DNA sequencing 2. You can see I've already done this before. I will confirm my choices, and this will take me to our main notebook editor. So the first thing I'll do is I'll title my first entry with today's date. And there we go. And so one of the main benefits of our ELN is the ability to refer to and integrate with other data that's already in LabKey. So you can see here just by typing in the @ symbol, I can start adding references to other notebooks, samples, sources, assays, and even workflow jobs. And so let's do just that. So let me refer to a workflow job that I set up previously that kind of outlines the steps of this experiment. So I'll keep typing DNA seek. And here we go. We've got our search results. This is what I want to refer to. And then when I hover over a referenced item, you can see here that I can see a bit more information. I can also navigate directly to that item in LabKey if I so choose. But for the purposes of this example, let's go ahead and keep moving. So step 1 of this experiment is to pick your samples. So let's say I want to refer to the individual samples that are being used in this assay. So I could follow the same process that I used for that workflow job, or I can refer to these in bulk. So let's go ahead and do the latter. Process starts the same. I'll type in my @ symbol, but this time I'll click on samples, and then I'll choose my relevant sample type of interest, which is DNA, and I'll start typing in my sample IDs. So we've got DNA 1, DNA 2, DNA 3, and DNA 4. Then I'll hit add references, successfully found them, and here they are. Once again, you can see a bit more information by hovering over. So yeah, you can refer to items either individually by specifying their name, or you can refer to them in bulk, whatever's kind of easier for your practice. Moving on to step 2 in this experiment. I'll add another entry, add another date. We're looking into the future here. And let's say step 2 is perform the assay. So we'll start by adding a reference to the existing assay run that's in LabKey already. So DNA seek. We've got a few assay runs to refer to. Let me just start with the first. But I can also just go ahead and copy and paste data directly from Excel into this text editor. So let's pull up real quick the Excel sheet. So this is the Excel sheet with the actual results data. You can see here that I can just copy and paste directly into the entry. So it comes through great. All the columns, the rows, everything looks as it should. And I even have the ability to further play around with the formatting of this grid or this chart in the text editor. So not only can you refer to items that are in LabKey, but you can also introduce or copy and paste in information from external sources directly into the ELN. And then let's say in the next step of this experiment, I want to add some additional files or images surrounding this experiment. So another day, another entry. And similarly to how I was able to directly copy and paste from Excel, I can also copy and paste an image directly into this entry. So let's go ahead, let's find an image. I'll copy it. I'll click in here and paste it in. As you can see, once again, the image comes through great. It's fit to the actual editor here. And I can also add additional attachments just by dragging and dropping. So let's find some other images I could pour over, and then I can just start dragging and dropping them to attach. And just by clicking on the actual attachments, I get a little bit of a preview here. If they're images, if they're files, I have the opportunity to download them. So right now, these attachments are tied directly to this specific entry, but I can also add attachments to the ELN as a whole. So let's say I want to add an SOP document. So let's drag that over. Instead of pulling it into an actual entry, I will drag it over here. And you can see it shows up as a shared attachment. So in the interest of time, there's a lot more to show in the ELN, but I'm going to pause it right there. If you have any other questions or if you'd want to learn more, please don't hesitate to reach out to your account managers. They'd be happy to answer any questions you have or set up more in-depth demos that are more relevant to the kind of work that you're actually doing in your lab or organization.